it live.
Okay.
Well,
No.
we'll do it live. F it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
What is up, everybody? Bobby here, the Nintendo Guru. Another episode of Nintendo Talk Live coming at you, and I'm with a good friend of the show, good friend all around, Marty Estes. How you doing, Marty?
I am doing fantastic, Bobby. How about you?
I'm wonderful, man. I couldn't be any better. I got to tell you, so a second ago, me and Marty were talking for a moment, and he said that he would take me up on the challenge that the Nintendo dads all seem to fall. Now, I just want to let you know, Masson was playing today, and I jumped in and started playing with him.
And how did that go?
I promise you he's going to make some excuses that his daughters were actually playing, not him. Because I beat him so bad. I actually took screenshots. So I'm going to post them later on Twitter. At 2,500 points I scored the one time, and he scored like 300, 400.
Oh.
It's bad. Masson's bad at Splatoon. I actually, Lucas Lore, what is up? Joel Brooks, what is up, guys? I actually, last year at Extra Life, and this is a true story, Justin was in charge of setting the rooms up. He sets it up so it's him, Dave Moore, and Zach against me and Paul Lloyd. Now, any other time, 3 against 2, you're getting smoked. Me and Paul Lloyd crushed them. They couldn't even get off the little... It was one of the ones with the pier. Like, it looks like an oil rig. It was one of the first ones they actually put out on Splatoon 1. Every time Zach and Justin came off the ledge, they got splatted. It was comical. I'm like, guys, go a different way. You're coming the same way every time. We're just sitting down here shooting every time. It was wonderful. It was the greatest.
Did you play with Eric Plunk?
Dude, that dude is...
He's a fan of our show.
Amazing.
He's insane.
He's
insane. You know what his hours on Splatoon 1 are?
No.
400.
Ooh. I got 160 on the first one.
He told me the other day when we were chatting, we were trying to like connect and get in the Nintendo app and all that first day, and he's like, he just casually mentions this. He's like, I maxed out every piece of gear in the original Splatoon.
That's insane.
And I was like, wait, every piece of gear? He's like, I was like, even the amiibo ones? He's like,
Oh my
I got
Lord.
all the slots filled up.
Oh my god.
And he was so like at first, like the very first match, I rolled him, and I was like, oh yeah, Eric, oh yeah, and then every match after that, the dude is a monster.
He's
a monster.
Real quick before we continue, Nintendo Talk Patrick said, "Hey guys, big fan of the Nintendo Dads podcast," and PK Ben said hello. What's up, guys? Okay, so this is the truth. I think I could make Eric better.
Okay.
He kills like a madman, but he doesn't put up a lot of points. And at the end of the day, that's what it matters. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But dude, he is like a sniper with a handgun. It is insane. Like, I'm sitting there playing with the guy, and he's killing me every 2 seconds. But like,
he uses that little like NZAP thing,
yes,
you know,
yes.
the zapper.
Yeah.
And he is so just like deadly accurate.
Oh, it's insane.
Swim up behind you.
Yeah.
And get you in the back.
Yeah.
So okay. So what's your freshness level?
Oh, I'm
what level are you and how fresh are you?
I'm hold on. Let me pull this out because I don't know off the top of my head. I am level 13 I just went to. Okay,
so you're farther along than I am.
And then let's be fair. You also dropped out. Like you had a review copy where you were building up.
Yeah.
So you lost all that data.
No, you didn't lose a thing.
Oh, it carried over.
Yeah, it carried over. So, but now I've not gotten to put in as much time. Last night I was going to put in a ton of time, and I ended up getting sick, and I just was like, I had a headache, and I honestly think it was from playing it too much.
That'll
I kind
do
of got
it.
dizzy, and I was like, I'm going to bed.
That'll
And then
do
I
it.
missed the SNES Classic pre-orders.
We'll get into that in one second. Okay,
Yeah,
so
let's talk about that because rage is all I feel.
I guarantee you, when we get done talking in 2 seconds, you will not be rageful anymore. But
Okay.
Super Fresh is what I'm at.
Super Fresh.
31.0.
Oh well. Never
Do,
mind. I was gonna ask and like try to brag, humble brag, and be like,
what-
oh yeah, I'm 15.
listen,
Never mind,
dude, I'm telling you,
maybe I don't want to play you.
Marty, I would take it easy on you. I would take it easy.
So
that was more directed towards Justin, because Justin's
you,
one of them guys that like pokes and then backs away and lets the fight happen in front of him. You know.
What are you using? What's your weapon?
Aerospray MG.
Yes,
I love
yes.
that thing. Love that thing.
It charges up its special so fast.
Oh,
Or
God.
maybe that's just me.
Well, you know what it is? So when I first started playing, I used a roller. And
Me
then what I realized was, because I picked it up playing the single player campaign in the first Splatoon. And when I got it, I actually realized it's the closest to a roller that you can get, because when you hit the ground, it opens up a little bit wider than you. So when you're running down them alleyways where they're a little bit, maybe 2-3 people can run down, if you're splatting the ground, it's hitting all that coverage.
You're inking the whole thing.
You're inking the whole
you're
thing.
doing it all.
Yeah, so it picks up a lot of stuff. But I just have this thing where I paint and move. And my thing is, like, I understand the concept of what Splatoon is. It's just covering your territory. Like, as far as, like, rank play, I'm horrible at rank play because I'm not good at killing people. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not...
Sure.
I just can't shoot people. That's... Not that I can't emotionally shoot them. It's just I can't hit them. They're too quick, man.
Yeah.
But no,
Well,
I love it.
the curling bomb launcher that I have with mine, is that
Yes.
what you have for your special?
And I
that
love
makes
it.
killing really easy.
And you know something? That's the other thing. So when I played the original Splatoon, my favorite special was the Ink Strike. Because what I learned was you're picking up points very quickly, because it's splatting a spot, a big area on the other side of the map that you can't get to, and you can just keep inking where you are. This is very similar to what the nice thing about this is, as you're throwing the curling bombs, they're leaving trails of your color ink all over the place. They're bouncing off of walls and still going all over, and then they just start popping all over the place.
Yeah,
it's the best, and I think that's why I'm scoring so much, because I was playing yesterday. We were doing the Super Indie podcast thing last night, and there was a whole bunch of us in Discord talking and playing, and Jason Lacey of Flux Deposed podcast, and he's kind of quasi part of Play Some Video Games PSVG podcast. Dude, he was banking like 23, 24, 2,500 points. And I was, at the time, I was just using a splatter gun. And I was getting like 21 at tops. I'm like, dude, what is he doing that I'm not doing? It doesn't make sense. Then I realized...
He's using that Aerospray.
He was using the Aerospray. And I was like... So I said to him, Jason, what is the special for that? And he told me, and I was like, I don't know if I like that. And then when I watched him use it, I'm like... Because it blew me up. It like... 10 of these bombs hit me at once, and it was like, what the heck was that? And he was like, it's this thing. I'm like, oh, that's me. I'm going after it now. So
if you get caught in a enclosed area with that thing, and you're the guy's shooting all the bombs directly at you, there's nothing you can do.
You can't move.
And I love the God, what is the name of the stage? It's the one with the it's the band. It's the state. I know you're talking about the
music
stage.
Yes.
There's a part. Where like behind, I guess, the main stage part that's in the middle of the map that like you can ink for your team or the other team. Yeah. And I love it when the other team goes down in there, because I'm like, oh yes,
it's time to unload. Start dropping bombs in there, and they're like, you see them all scrambling trying to get out, and it's like, you ain't going nowhere, man. You're done. It's over.
So you've just by talking, you've really enjoyed Splatoon 2 so far.
I love Splatoon 2. See, I love Splatoon 1. So for me, it was like this is just more of the same. I don't want to say the same thing, because that's kind of condescending to the developers. But it's basically they kept what was great about it. They fixed some things that people complained about. Number one is, so My number one happiest thing that they fixed was, if you remember, I'm sure you do, every single time they changed maps every 4 hours, you got kicked out and you had to listen to Callie and Marie talk again.
Yes.
Don't have to do that no more. You just get kicked out, they revamp the maps, and you go back in. And they tightened the time up to 2 hours rather than 4 hours. So I like that. There's a
little more variety, and when they add some more stages in, that's going to be even better.
Oh, it's going to get insane when they do that, because
I will tell you what my number one thing though is in this is Salmon Run. Salmon Run is the best part of Splatoon 2.
Dude, I played it today for the first time. I'm in love. The only thing I don't like is I don't like playing with randoms. So I'd rather try to get a core group of people to just be
we had it was me and Eric playing last night, and we had 2 randoms, and we were still doing pretty good. But,
that's good.
I cracked part-timer last night.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I got the second bonus, which is the shirt.
Okay.
Because I'd played a bunch that day, but winning puts you up big.
Yeah.
You get a lot of points for winning, but if you lose, man, I was getting 20, going back 20 at a time.
Oh man!
Because we'd get like 90 out of 99, and then send me back to 70.
Oh.
So, but I guess the stages change, or the time of day changes.
Yeah.
When you play, because I've heard like night stages and things like that. But to me, that is the main thing, and that was the only thing that we did not have access to in the pre-release.
Okay. So you had no Salmon Run at all.
No ability to review Salmon Run at all. I kept asking, thinking, okay, it's going to come up. It's going to come up. It's going to be every other day. I think that's what they said, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be every other day, and then nothing.
The first, for us, though, I think it's been so far the back-to-back days we've gotten it.
That's probably for release weekend, I bet.
That's what I'm figuring. And I don't mind. I totally don't mind the every other day. Like, you guys had Roger on a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he had said, like, in talks to Nintendo, like, some people that work there, they don't want to steal from the servers. Because you only have so many people playing. And if everybody's playing Salmon, it's going to make it longer wait times. And let's be honest, in a couple of months, you're going to start to see it thin out a little bit. And when that starts to happen, they'll start to combine the servers. We'll start getting more Japanese people. Because I think, part of me thinks everybody's separate right now. Because I have.
Oh no, I've played some guys.
Have you played people from Japan?
But I will say it was mainly before release.
Okay, because I haven't seen a single person from Japan.
I joined a game last night that was just in my friends list. It was a guy who I had added from Mitomo, who was back when it was Japan only. And I made an account to get Mitomo. I added him, and I went in his room, and he beat the ever-living crap out of me, and I was like, all right, retreat.
I used to always say that, like, when I had Splatoon 1 and I played, it was like 2 sets of mentalities. I would play one style in the morning and a different style in the afternoon, because Japanese players play a totally different style than American players. And it's just weird. It's totally weird. I feel like the American players kind of grasp the concept a little bit of paint the ground as much as possible. They will come after you. The one thing you notice from the American players is occasionally you'll get a jumper, someone that just jumps around, like Call of Duty type stuff. But in Japan, it's like they all jump, and they all do sneak attack moves where they'll be hiding in the ink, in a little patch of ink, and you're like, oh, I think that's covered. I don't have to mess with it. Next thing you know, this dude just jumps out of the ink and blasts you. And it's like, the heck, where did that guy come from? So, yeah, it's definitely different. Have you? Let's jump into everybody's favorite topic now with the app. Have you messed with the mobile app at all?
I have, yeah. Eric and I were using it last night to communicate back and forth.
In terms of for voice.
Yes, for voice.
What did you think of it?
I was pleasantly surprised, actually. I mean, I thought the for a first time, and I'm saying this for the first time, Nintendo trying to do this.
Yeah.
The connection was surprisingly easy. Yeah. It's not all the hubbub that people are making it out to be. And the voice quality was actually really good.
Yeah. So
I'm anxious to see how it, as we get into the paid service.
Yeah.
But for me, it is kind of like, I've got my Switch and I've got my phone and I've got this and I'm hooked in here, but I get why they did it the way they did it.
Yeah.
You know, I get it for portability. Like I can be sitting at Starbucks and I can connect and I can have it, or I can be sitting at my mom's house, or I can, you know, and it's easy. Like, but I noticed today, I was playing earlier and I got a notification on my Switch while I was playing. So and so wants you to come play. So
Dude,
it's not
I got
just
the same thing. Someone,
what? It's not just restricted to the app.
Yeah.
If the app is not on, then you're going to get your notifications on your Switch, and that means, hey, go turn on your app.
Yeah,
and
I get
do
the same
that.
thing. Someone created a room today and was like, it invited me, and I was like,
yeah,
the heck is that? Yeah.
I think that there's probably going to be more of a shift to that.
Yeah.
But it would not surprise me 2, 3, 4 years down the road, Nintendo does Switch 2 or whatever, and or the new Switch XL, stop. With Knuckles, and it all be integrated into that.
Yeah.
But I mean, my biggest concern with the app, honestly, has been I can't find a freaking headset anywhere. I've got the one that I use for like playing Overwatch and stuff that plugs in the bottom of my PlayStation controller, but that one also doesn't feed game audio.
Yeah.
And I wanted the Hori one, you know, the squid one, and I pre-ordered it off Amazon. It still hasn't shipped. It still doesn't even have a ship date.
Amazon is dropping the ball big time lately.
No stores around here had any Splatoon 2 amiibo or headsets.
Wow.
None.
Wow.
My local, and of course, I live in a town of 7,000 people. My local GameStop got one of each.
GameStop too. They're such a joke in store anymore. It's like they want you to purchase everything online anymore. They don't want to they don't want to stock their stores at all with anything. It's ridiculous, man. It's like, come on, this is nuts. How you don't have anything.
Same thing happened when the Skyward Sword amiibo came out.
Yeah.
Is that the one that they got?
No, they got
Well, those Zelda amiibo.
Yep.
You know, they got the Twilight Princess one.
Yeah.
And they got it.
You're right.
And they only got one, and it was the only one that was pre-ordered.
Yep.
And then, like, a week later, they got just a truckload of them.
Yeah.
So that's probably what's going to happen with these Splatoon amiibo.
Possibly so.
But they didn't have, like, a lot of the accessories they didn't have. But back to the app, I mean, I'm okay with it for what it is. I have a problem with people complaining for things that we get for free.
Yeah. I'm with you, trust me.
And like I should just be able to take this and plug my headphones into it and do it. But Nintendo decided not to do that. There's obviously a reason behind it. Yeah. Either it's Nintendo, or there's a technical limitation.
Yeah.
That they don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
And so they offload the computing power of that, or the processing or whatever of it, you know, the server aspect of it to your phone.
Yeah.
And it goes that way. But it may also be because, you know, you may not always have your Switch in your pocket all the time, but you're always probably going to have your phone.
Yeah.
And that's why you're going to know, hey, Bobby wants to play with me.
Yeah.
I better go get my Switch.
Yeah. I agree. I think there's obviously something. Plus, the other thing, too, is when Switch 2 comes, right? Because I'm under the mindset, I totally feel that, like, the tablet will get replaced or upgraded as time goes on. We're stuck with the Joy-Cons. We're stuck with the dock, which I'm fine with. I love it.
That's okay.
But I think it's going to be like an Apple type thing where every couple of years we get a new tablet and new and improved graphics and all that. Well, how do you get people to upgrade? At some point you go, hey, you know that app that you guys don't want to carry your phones with? It's now we're able to integrate it in. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to constantly give you stuff like that. And I think it's going to eventually get either integrated in, or it's going to get to the point where voice chat is baked into the system itself.
Yeah.
So that's my
that is such an interesting theory. I've never thought of it like that, of having a new tablet. But I mean, imagine being able to say, you know, you can get in with the Switch 2 or whatever it's going to be called for $299.99 with this brand new upgrade and all this stuff, or you can get in with the Switch 2 like this for $179. Well, because you've already got the Joy-Con.
What I'm thinking is this. This is my mindset of it. I think what they're going to do is this. They'll basically have one for us to upgrade, which will be $300, but it'll be hefty power. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I feel like. If they keep the price model of $300, right?
Right.
And they continue the upgrade, we can start to you're never going to catch Microsoft or Sony with power, but they can actually start to close the gap some, you know what I mean, and continually upgrade like that. Like, and then what you do is you take last year's model, you lower the price of that, and it's like just like an Apple phone, you know what I mean? Like if I go in and I got my 6 Plus, and I want to go to 7 Plus. Well, you could, if you don't have anything, you can come along and buy the 6 Plus for cheaper. You know what I mean? Like for $100, $200 cheaper than I'm going to pay for mine. So I'm fine with that model if that's the model they keep. But then again, like you're saying, like it could be a situation like they go, okay, here's Switch 2, it's $300. It comes the whole kit and caboodle. Or you buy just the tablet for say $200, maybe $150. What you're saying. I just hope the thing stays powerful. That's my only fear is I don't want it to like decrease in power. I want them to keep the power going.
You've got people like me who are replacing these every year. Mm-hmm. You know, I want the new one every time it comes out.
Me too.
I want the best. I want that. And if Nintendo were to do that and they were able to offer me this, you know, the tablet part, and they were to say, hey, it's bigger, it's more powerful, it's $200. Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I would totally go for that.
Yeah, I would too.
I don't want a bigger screen. I don't want any more bells. I don't want any gimmicks. I just want more power under the hood.
That's it.
Let me be able to upgrade that and then start bringing me, because I mean, in Japan, they've already kind of done this. They brought in some of the streaming apps and things like that.
Yep.
Go ahead and begin to make this a multimedia machine, which I think we're going to see in the fall.
It's definitely. They've already said that like Netflix has reached out to them, YouTube has reached out to them, Discord has actually reached out to them. Like all these companies are. It's just one of those things that like Nintendo focuses on games. Everybody else brings in whatever they want to do. Like Nintendo don't put Netflix on there. You know what I mean?
And the best part about this is as the Switch just starts, I mean, like it's got momentum and it's picked up momentum. And as it just starts chugging faster and faster, you're going to see more and more things jump on there. It's kind of like now where Ubisoft has come back and be like, so yeah, we've got lots of games planned now for the Switch. Yeah. I fully expect by this time next year, we're seeing EA, we're seeing all those. I mean, and this is not Nintendo fanboy optimism. This is me looking objectively at the situation. They're about to release sales numbers, you know, since March.
Yep.
And somebody said probably you're going to look at 5 million.
Yeah.
And I think that's right on the money.
Yeah.
I think that's probably 4.5 to 5.5, somewhere in there, including the fact that, I mean, the things just countrywide are sold out in Japan.
I think it's higher. Dude. They're crushing in Japan. These guys can't do anything. I just did a Nintendo talk this week where they had 3,000 people line up to buy 250 of them. And I'm sorry, didn't even get a chance to buy them. 3,000 showed up for a raffle ticket. And then they raffled for the opportunity to buy it. Dude, Marty, the lines were insane. When I tell you the lines were blocks long, that's no exaggeration.
Every time that I see one in stock here in America, here in my part of the world, every time I see one in stock, the next day or the day after that, it's gone.
Absolutely. Same here.
And Best Buy yesterday, where I was going to search for Amiibo, they had a stack of 11 of them. I guarantee you they're gone right now.
The only store that in what I've seen so far, the only store that seems to not be able to sell out quickly is GameStop. But that's because GameStop piles on a bunch of other stuff with it. Yeah. They're doing the bundles, and people don't have $600-$700 to buy. Well,
they're doing the bundles in store for pre-order and on the web for pre-order. But you can actually go into the store and actually say, do you have any single systems in stock? And if they do, then they'll sell you one.
Yeah.
But it's not. Those are few and far between.
Exactly.
They're holding them for the bundles so they can upsell you the games and the grip and all that other junk. You know, the Zelda Lite and Think Geek crap. And,
it's
but
stupid.
The thing is that. Somebody made this comment the other day, and they said that I think pretty much everybody who had really, really, really wanted one when it came out has one by now.
Yeah.
These are all new consumers. These are all converts. These are all people who are going, that Switch thing's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're now seeing people come in and kind of, I've seen a lot of people online say, coming back to Nintendo.
Yeah.
I'm coming back. I'm coming home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Should never left, buddy.
Yeah.
You know, But I fully believe within 2 years, and I'm being generous. I'm going to say 2 years because I'm being generous.
Mm-hmm.
Within 2 years, we've surpassed the lifetime sales of the Wii U.
Oh, I'm with you. Dude, I'll even go as far as to say a year and a half. The way they're banging them out, I wouldn't be surprised if they can crush that. No problem at all.
What were Wii U lifetime sales were 13 million?
I think it was 13 million when it was done.
13 point something.
Yeah.
I think.
That's not much. That's not much. No. They could do that easily. I think within a year of this thing, they could be damn close to doing it, honestly. I mean, if you think about it, like you're looking at what if they're doing if it's like 5 or 6 million now, right? And that's like almost a million a month. They're going to be close to it by the time the year's up. That's insane. Because I think when Christmas comes, they're really going to try to flood. I think from Christmas till March, it's going to be tight. But right for Christmas, I think we're going to get a big rush.
Listen, when Mario Odyssey comes out,
forget about it.
It is going to be insane.
I agree.
The amount of hype that game has.
Yeah.
The amount of push and power that game has behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh! The end of this year, Black Friday to Christmas is going to be. I hope they can they do something to be sure they're on the shelves because they will sell. They will sell.
I agree.
When you walk into Christmas, I mean, just look here, Mom and Dad. We're walking into Christmas. Your child can get a game system that has Mario Kart, Zelda, Mario, and whatever in between.
Yeah.
Just those 3 names right there.
Yeah.
Right?
It's huge.
And ARMS and Splatoon if they like shooters and fighting games.
Yeah.
I'm saying those 5 games right there are driving sales.
I agree.
You know, and that's just first party stuff. We're not talking FIFA and Skyrim and all kinds of other stuff that's going to do it. You've got those games that are just going to be huge this Christmas.
It's massive. Fernando Pelzer, what is up, buddy? Let's just saw you slip into the chat room. The funny thing is this. I've seen more advertising in the last 6 months than I feel like I've ever saw in the entire life of the Wii U. This feels like Wii type advertising. Like I can't even tell you how many times I watched We Would Like to Play, them 2 Japanese guys showing up at someone's front door, and it was ingrained in our heads, and everybody knew what it was. It seems like every launch of a game, there's a new Nintendo commercial hitting.
Whoever is doing their marketing for the Switch and its games, whoever's doing this music selection for that is just blowing it up.
Killing it, dude. Killing it.
Earworm after earworm. People are going, what is that song? You know, what is that?
They're buying music because of a commercial.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got that going on. To me, this feels like 1992 all over again.
Oh,
this
man.
feels like Super Nintendo, Sega versus Nintendo. Yeah. Genesis does what Nintendo don't, and Nintendo popping back with something. It feels like they've got that spring in their step again.
Yeah. They got a lot of swagger. It's like they're a championship football team coming back out, and they know they're going to win. It's like they don't. It's funny because every single time something happens, like negatively, like people flip out. Like, well, when I say negative, I mean like the internet upset, crying. They just totally ignore it, and then go, "Oh, look at this." You know what I mean? It's like. What's going on? Like every single time.
Well,
it's like
a great example of that is this app.
Yeah.
You know, like for months, what have we heard? Like from like the launch of Mario Kart to the launch of Splatoon, it's just been like, oh, the Switch is great. Everybody needs a Switch. Yeah. I just see all these like websites falling over each other. Number one, to apologize.
Yeah.
We're sorry. We said this wasn't going to be good and all this stuff. But now like the app comes out. And all of a sudden, it's like, well, we always knew Nintendo sucked.
Same thing. I saw that. I was like,
same thing back and forth. It's like, well, Nintendo's app's just as bad as you think it is. This is crap. Blah blah blah. And you're right. Like they're the company that puts out stuff, and they're like, hey, we're going to put out this system with a waggle. It's a motion controller, and everybody goes, we don't need that. And Nintendo goes, okay. Yeah, you don't need that. And then we sit back and watch the Wii sell how many?
Yeah.
And we watch other companies be like, oh, we need to do motion controls. We gotta copy them. We got to do all this. And it's just that's just the Nintendo way.
Yeah.
You know, now do I wish that they did some things differently? Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that they're perfect. They're not.
No.
I
Yeah,
mean,
they're way off.
They're way off. But I mean, the fact is that this is why I enjoy video gaming as a Nintendo fan, because I feel like a lot of times with Sony and Microsoft, there's things that I'm excited about, but there's not a whole lot of, I don't want to say heart, because that's taking away from developers who are amazing.
Yeah.
There's just Nintendo magic, I guess. It's like Nintendo does this thing with its games where you feel like you really are part of something.
Yeah.
You know, that it's, I don't know how to describe it. I've never had that feeling playing Halo. I've never had that feeling playing, Horizon Zero Dawn. I've never had that feeling playing those games.
Yeah.
Now, during the end of the Wii era and into the start of the Wii U, the Xbox 360 was my favorite console, and I'm not ashamed of that. I mean, but the thing is that it was mainly because of the Xbox Live indie stuff that was coming out on the Live Arcade.
Yeah.
It wasn't the big name games.
Yeah.
And now Nintendo has that. Now, like, Nintendo has sewed up like 75% of the indie community, and like most of the games that I have on my Switch are indie games.
Yeah.
I mean, just looking at my list, you know, from Blaster Master to Goner to Death Squared, Mighty Gunvolt Burst, Playgrounds, Shantae, Cave Story, Astro Duel Deluxe, Jackbox, different things like that.
Yeah.
You know, Snake Pass. Each of those games that I've mentioned, not only are they great games, but they're all different experiences.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that's one thing, is that, like, I'll just say it. If you take away first-person shooters from other modern consoles, what leg do they have to stand on?
My thing is, I look at it like this.
And sports.
Yeah. Yeah.
First-person shooters and sports derivative, over and over titles.
Yeah.
What do they have to stand on? Because they would be delivering a new game like every 4 years.
Yeah. My feeling has been like this. It's like Disney and DreamWorks. So it seems like every single time Disney puts a movie out, you may have never heard of the movie before or the characters or whatever. Everybody just falls in love with them. It's like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is great. And DreamWorks, you'll hear of a Shrek, and then they'll put out 5 movies and you don't even know what they are. And then they hit something else. And then they hit something else. And it's like, and then they won't hit. And I feel like that's kind of like Sony. Like, you don't hear of these huge, like, yes, you hear the clamoring and stuff, but it's like, you don't get Last of Us, Uncharted every single time out the gates. You know,
sure.
Where Nintendo, and the thing is, it's like, they're great games. Don't get me wrong. They have great games on their consoles. But you just don't get people head over heels, falling in love with them, screaming for more games 20 years later, 30 years later. It's like Nintendo puts a character out there, and it's like, it's a home run. Like, you look at Splatoon, and it's like, this is insane. This is nuts the way it is. Real quick, Patrick from Nintendo Talk, he's got a question for us. He says, what's your most anticipated game that is not Odyssey?
Oh gosh,
that's hard, right?
that is a hard game. So first thing we need to do is we need to look up a list of upcoming games, because there's a ton. I mean, there's literally a ton of games that are coming out.
Mine's pretty easy.
Okay.
There's probably 2 games. Splatoon would have been the one if you would have asked me a couple weeks ago, because that was the whole reason why me and my wife bought 2 Switches, was for Splatoon 2. At launch, because I was afraid that we wouldn't be able to buy a second one, and because she was buying me mine for Christmas, and I had seen the look in her eyes, like the hype was starting to hit her, and she was like, "Man, I'm not going to get one." And so I figured out a way to get us a second one, and so she was like, leading up, it was like I was started looking at the money, and I'm like, "Man, I got all these pre-orders and this and that, and I'm getting this, and she's like, "Well, why don't we just cancel mine? Don't worry about it, and I'll get it later." I'm like, because you might not be able to get one later. We need to do this now. We can't wait for later. But that said, so for me, Splatoon was the one. But I look at 2 games, and they're not AAA games. I look at SteamWorld Dig 2.
That's going to be amazing.
And Flipping Death. Those two games I am so excited for.
We did an interview with the guys from Flipping Death not long ago, and I know you heard this, just the passion they have for that game.
Oh yeah,
and the ideas that were there. Man, that's one that I'm really looking forward to.
They are so much like a Nintendo developer. It's not even funny. Like when I've had conversations with Klaus, he owns Zoink Games, and I've had conversations with him, and he's like, dude, when they had the Wii, right? He created this stuffed animal thing that you stuck the Wiimote in, and it was kind of like a hot potato game where you like tossed it around, and the TV became a timer, and it was like just insane how he's doing all this stuff. I had said to him, because I have the podcast If We Ran Nintendo, and that's the show that I used to interview them guys when I had them on. I said, if we ran Nintendo, what game would you want to redo or do? What franchise would you want Nintendo to give to you to do? And he said, Klaus said 1-2 Switch. Because he's like, I love the innovation behind it. He's like, I just felt like they dropped the ball with it. And they didn't.
Right.
It was like, it's a great idea. He's like, dude, the still screens are boring. He's like, I could have done so much better with that. And I was like, I would have loved to see you get a hold of it. Because I can imagine. I mean, here's a guy that, like I said, took an idea for a Wiimote and to make it like a bomb, like a hot potato type game. You know what I mean? It was like, just that type of innovation, like that kind of thought is kind of cool. You know what I mean? But what game are you? Well,
I'm gonna say I have 3, and I know that's cheating, but I don't care. Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Oh yeah.
Is number 1 probably. Well, no, there's a shared number 1, and then there's like a lower number 1. A shared number was Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and I know it's not a Switch game, but I'm throwing it out there. Metroid: Samus Returns.
Okay.
Holy crap! I gotta tell y'all the story about this trailer. So I didn't like the day of the E3 presentation. They did not show it during the digital event. They waited until afterwards during the Treehouse.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, digital event's over. And I actually had an event to be at that day for work, and I was having to drive. Actually, the event was over, and I was driving my son to Jackson, which is a nearby town near us, for occupational therapy. And so we're driving along, and in the line chat on Nintendo Dad, I start seeing my name over and over, like, Marty, are you watching this? Look, Marty, look. And so I pull up my phone, and I see Metroid for 3DS. I pull over to the side of the road and watch the trailer on the side of the road. And dude, I've not been that hype about a game in a long time. Like, my son and I are and he's 10, and we're in the car, and we're screaming, and we're like, yo, yeah. And then like the Metroids start coming out. I'm like, that's a freaking evolved Metroid. That's, oh my gosh. And then I realized what game it was.
Yeah.
You know, and I am so hyped for that game.
Yeah.
It may even be more than Mario Rabbids. But my lesser one is that Yoshi game that they showed for Switch.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love the Woolly World. Yeah.
Well, I love Woolly World, and then for them now to like take it up and make it like it's not just cloth, but it's cardboard and it's a diorama type thing, and you can go in and out. That looks amazing.
Yeah.
And I know that's one of those games like Woolly World. Let me talk about that for just a second. Woolly World is one of those games that people probably poo-pooed on a lot, and it's like, oh, it's for babies, but was one of the most satisfying games for the Wii U that I played the entire time.
Yeah, because the thing with it was you're used to
played that game. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Because you're used to old Yoshi games that were baby games. They were real easy.
Yeah.
But this one, it was like, wow. It ran. It started like you go through the first couple levels, and it's just steady. It's like they just put the hammer down, and it just gets harder. Well, it is so good.
There's such an amazing world that they built there with that, and such an amazing depth of content that they were able to put in that game. I'm so glad that I'm actually really glad I got it for the 3DS, because we moved our Wii U upstairs for the kids, and I have literally not touched it since the Switch came out. And so, but it's one of the games that we traded in on the Switch, because I was like, we're getting this for 3DS.
Yeah.
You know, but man, that was such a good game, and so I'm looking forward to what they're going to do with that. So those are my 3.
Yeah, I can't wait. I just want to touch on Lucas Lore. He's saying that first-person shooters, racing games, and sports, those are big pillars within gaming. And they are big pillars within gaming. But the one thing, and I think that's the parallel, like you see with Nintendo. Nintendo tends to take chances and try different things. Mm-hmm. And even though those types of games are pillars, I haven't seen a game take a risk with any of those in so long. Like I haven't seen. It's funny because you look at what Nintendo did with Zelda, and when it was first getting done, people are like, "Oh, it's about time. Oh yeah, finally they're doing an open world game." And then when they play it, it's like, "What, dude? They just changed the whole genre. Like they just blew it out the water and changed the genre." And it's like no one, EA, FIFA, like with the FIFA games, with the Madden games, like there's no risk taking. It's all, they play it safe.
Well, there's the idea of it costs millions of dollars to make this game, and if it tanks, then we tank, and so there's not a lot of risk. Like you said, there's not a lot, it's risk versus reward, and so there's not a lot of risk being taken. And I feel like that has hurt the game industry more. Absolutely. Like I feel like when it was. And I grew up as a kid in the 80s playing video games, okay? I mean, I got my Nintendo, the NES, when I was 8, and I've never missed a Nintendo system. In fact, I've owned pretty much the majority of video game consoles that have come out in America. I've owned pretty much all of them, save for, like, the Sega Saturn and the Neo Geo. So
nobody could afford the Neo Geo.
No. And so, like, I remember a time, like, and I hate to call it this, but it's almost like the golden era of gaming for me was the 16-bit era, because you had Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, and over here in the corner you had TurboGrafx 16, and everybody was kind of doing their own thing, but everybody was mutually competing and benefiting from it. You know, and then. Like Nintendo had and Sega had their little war going on, but I remember games for my Genesis I loved and I still play today, and I remember games from my Super Nintendo I loved and I still play today. I remember games from TurboGrafx I love and still play today. I honestly, now it feels like it's so polarized. You know, it's like if you're a Sony fan, then that's what you are. If you're an Xbox fan, then that's what you are. If you're a Nintendo fan, then that's what you are. But I think the issue with that is the gaming industry as a whole has become more polarized because they're afraid to take chances.
Well, and that's why I love the indie scene so much. Because look, you grew up on NES games. I grew up on NES games, right?
Right.
You look at Mario 1, you look at Zelda 1, you look at Castlevania 1, you look at Mega Man. All these first time games coming out, right? They totally flipped the script on the sequel. Mega Man, not so much. But Mega Man changed the art style, got more bright, more colorful. It just looked more cartoony. It was better. Castlevania 2 is nothing like Castlevania 1. Zelda 2 is nothing like Zelda 1. Mario 2 is nothing like Mario 1. And it's like, so I grew up in that era where gaming companies innovated. They tried different things. And they don't do it no more. And that's why I love the indie scene so much, because I look at it, I mean, I've had conversations with Image and Form, I've had conversations with Zoink, with Jules Watcham, and I say to the guys, I'm like, I love you guys because I feel like I'm a kid in the 80s again. And you're not telling me, I'm not telling you what I want. You tell me what I want, and I don't even know I want it. You know, I never forget this conversation I had with Brian from Image and Form. I met him in New Jersey a couple years ago now, and I walk in there, and we start to talk, and we go outside for a minute, and we have like a 30, 40-minute conversation outside. And I said to him, "Where's Dig 2? What's this heist thing? What are you doing with heist? Where's Dig 2? And he goes, "I don't want to be known as the company that just does digging games. I want to do something different." And he's like, "Let's go back in. Let's demo the game." And then, so I go in, he sits me down, I demo Heist, and I look at him and I go, "Holy crap, dude, this game is amazing. This is awesome." I didn't even know I wanted that game. I wanted Dig 2, and you give me Heist. Then I want Heist 2, now they give me Dig 2. And I'm like, you guys are killing me, man.
It's kind of like,
it's awesome.
It's kind of like, is it Nicholas?
Yes.
Nicholas has like Nicholas and Imogen Form and Zoink and several others. I feel like have just kind of mastered that indie, like being those indie guys. You know, like that. And I would even say Yacht Club is like king class of that. I mean, even with one game, I can't wait to see what they do next.
Me too.
And look, they've even said that they're like, we know, you know, we're looking forward to moving on to what's not Shovel Knight. Yeah. But if it's as good quality as what Shovel Knight is, holy crap, man. Yeah. But like, Steam, there's nothing that comes out with the Steam World name on it that's trash. Have you noticed that?
I agree.
There's nothing. Yeah. Nicholas does not put out any games that are not just like really fun and enjoyable and draw you in. Did they do? Let me ask this, because this I may be thinking of the wrong people. Did they do 1001 Spikes?
I believe they did.
Okay, I think so did. You've got Cave Story and 1001 Spikes, which are completely different games.
Yeah. Well, Nicholas is more of a publisher type thing. Right. So what Nicholas does is Nicholas pulls in all these indie teams and then pushes them out.
But again, you know, they can get shoehorned as a publisher.
Oh yeah,
they can get shoehorned into one thing.
Yeah, and they don't.
You know, and I think that like your theory on that about not taking chances, but it being good when a company takes chances. Yeah. I feel like is really why people are so hyped for Odyssey.
Yes.
Because it doesn't look like any Mario game you've ever played, not even Galaxy.
Yeah.
And look, let's be honest. I want Galaxy. I want Galaxy.
Yeah.
I want Galaxy 3.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be honest. I want Mario World. I want Super Mario 3D World 2, and I want Mario Galaxy 3. Yeah. But I'm content if they don't give me that. If they give me something like Odyssey and keep pushing forward and keep going, I'm okay with that. I mean, I would love to eventually have those other things. Yeah. But it's kind of a case of like Nintendo does that too, Bobby.
Yeah.
Tell me what I want.
Yes.
You know, tell me. The first time that I heard Breath of the Wild was an open world game, and people were like, "It's an open world game like Skyrim." I was like, "Oh."
I did too.
Oh, please, God, no. You know, and then I played it, and I got just sucked in.
Yeah, man.
And I was even playing it right before I came on tonight.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting on, like I'm at 100 shrines. I know I'm late, but like I'm trying to close it up, you know, and at least get that before I go into the master trials. Like I want to have all my hearts and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And like I just keep finding reasons to love that game.
It's
it's like, man. You know, like I'll go to a place I've never been before, or like today. Like I'm using a map now to find the shrines, because I'm just like, you know what, I'm done. Let's just find them.
Let's just get it done.
And I'm floating down over this place, and there's a bridge and some water, and it's this big long bridge. It's near the Shrine of Resurrection. It's near the beginning of the game, and I'm like, there's a Hinox on there, and I start floating down under there to get the shrine because I see it, and then it comes up and it says Dig Dogger Bridge.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Just the names and the callbacks and the things that makes you want to go everywhere in that game. Amazing. And imagine Zelda for the Switch if they had not taken the chances they took with this game. It would be fantastic. I mean, we know it would be good. We would be going, oh yeah, it's a great game. It's great. Zelda's awesome. But you're not just talking about a Zelda game when you talk about Breath of the Wild. You're talking about Game of the Year.
Yeah.
And it's and honestly, it's embarrassing to games journalism. I'm going to say this: it's embarrassing to games journalism if Zelda does not get Game of the Year.
Well, I have this I have this scary theory of what's going to happen. So typically, you'll have IGN, right? Everybody votes on Game of the Year, and you're going to have. This is my biggest fear: is that Mario and Zelda are going to eat each other's votes, and Horizon's going to come in from the bottom and take it, because I really feel that, like, if you have, here's the thing. So at IGN, they have the Nintendo team, they have the Sony team, the Xbox team, and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, the Nintendo team have 2 games that they can pick from that they're probably going to lean towards. The Sony guys, they just have Horizon. I feel like they only have Horizon. I could be wrong. Maybe something else will come out at that point, and it'll go that way. I don't even know what Xbox has that can be considered, but that isn't what they're going to do. They're going to look at it and go, do we go Zelda? Do we go Mario? So I really feel that, like, them two games are going to, like, garner a lot of votes, but I feel like they're going to eat each other's. I've had that feeling.
I really
from the very
hope
beginning.
that doesn't happen.
Yeah, but I can see that happening.
Well, and the reason I'm saying that it's embarrassing to games journalism if it doesn't, turn out that way is that Nintendo basically did everything people said they needed to do, but they did it in their way.
Yeah.
And everybody noticed that, and everybody has fallen all over themselves for Zelda, since it came out. And I think it sets the bar for open world games from now on.
Absolutely.
And because, I've played Skyrim.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played it a lot, but I've played it. It doesn't feel as alive as Zelda did to me. I'm gonna revisit Skyrim once it comes out on the Switch.
I am too.
I really am.
Yeah.
And I admittedly did not spend enough time with it to really get a grasp on the world or whatever. But, I think you're coming into that, like the people who really got jazzed and fired up about Skyrim fall into one of two camps. Either they've never played a game like that before and it just took their breath away, and that's why they loved it. Or they've been Elder Scrolls fans since the PC, and they've come all the way up Morrowind and all that other kind of stuff. And this is the new, it's like Zelda. Yeah. It's their new Zelda. Yeah. And so it blew them away too. And I know it was a great game. I'm not throwing that out. And I know it deserved the awards it won. But I just don't know. Like, I don't see how you can walk away from this year and not go Breath of the Wild was game of the year. And that's not playing Mario, but I also don't feel like it's fair to Mario to call it the game of the year when you've had it for 2 months and you're doing voting in December.
Yeah, but that happens all the time. There's always games that come at the end of the year, and it's just that might be. And the other thing too is Rigo Lara, what's up? The other thing too is, like, it could be why Nintendo backed it up to October. To hopefully, I don't understand. That was curious to me too, why they put that in October. I was expecting that to totally go in November, their Black Friday day, the Friday before Black Friday.
Because they have that game.
Yeah.
That's every year. And I was expecting any SNES Classic to be that this year. Just like Nintendo Classic was supposed to be last year if you could actually find one.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that? You want me to?
Can we? I'm a little salty.
Okay,
Can we talk about?
The problem is you're probably talking to Zach Erickson, and he gets a little upset when it comes to this stuff.
No, he doesn't want one. I do want one.
How does he not want one? What is he on drugs?
He says he doesn't need another piece of plastic.
Oh, he's so full of garbage.
No, but look,
listen.
Here's the
stop. Stop, Zach. You want this thing.
I'll agree with him on this point, and he's made this point several times on the show, and I'm okay with it, and I actually love it. Do it two ways. Yeah. Do it for the people who want the nostalgia box. Do it for them. Do it for the people who don't have a Switch. But then offer me the ability to download these games from the eShop in one package, and I'll pay the same price or $10 less. Yeah. Put them on a cart, put them somewhere. Let me play them on my Switch. Let me take them with me. I'm going to tell you which one I'm going to choose if you do that. Yeah. The portability is going to win every time.
I think I would do both. I like the little boxes, man. They're cool.
I do like the little box.
Yeah.
I've got my little Nintendo, and I've hacked my Nintendo, like you should, and it's got all the games on it that I want now, and it just sits up there under my TV, and I forget about it every now and then because I'm playing the Switch or the 3DS. But the other night, I was like, you know what? I just want to play Mega Man. Yeah. I just want to play Mega Man 4. Yeah. I'm working my way back to Mega Man.
How did you do that?
You don't know about hacking your
I know, but every one that I looked at was like 700 games. I don't want 700 games.
No.
I don't know how to pick and choose what I want.
Because, there's a way to do it, and you and I can talk about that
okay.
later.
We'll talk about that afterwards.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I need to know about this.
But, so I did that, and it's awesome, and I love it, and I want the box. I'm okay with the box. But here's the thing, give me the download. Because I know what's about to happen. I know it's about to be a bloodbath again. Yeah. That's what I'm afraid of.
I don't think it'll be that bad.
They say we have learned. We've learned. We know. No, you don't. Yeah. You don't. Because here's the thing: Nintendo continually shows that they don't understand that scalpers are going to scalp.
Yeah.
Or maybe they do. And maybe they just don't care.
Well, I don't think that I think they care. I just think they look at it and go, what are we going to do to stop it? You know what I mean? Like, what can we really possibly do to stop it?
You do pre-orders, and you do them through retailers that are committed to one per household.
Yeah.
One per person.
Yeah.
And then what you do is you make the amount of pre-orders and then some.
Yeah.
Take pre-orders now.
Yeah.
Produce August, September. Put them out at the end of the month. If it's delayed a little bit, fine. At least everybody gets one.
Yeah, that's the way I've always said it. I've been saying even with the Amiibo. Because when this game came out, right?
Yep.
This game was what started pre-orders. This and Zelda 2. Because you could not find it anywhere. And what they did was they started doing pre-orders for games, so that way they knew how many they needed to produce when the game launched. And that's where pre-orders all started. And then it was like they forgot the reason. And it was just like, we'll just do pre-orders, and it is what it is. And then they blow out, and it's over. Now, to get you off that ledge of aggravation and salt, that pile of salt that you're on with this whole Walmart thing, I don't think Walmart legitimately put them up for pre-order.
I don't either.
I think what happened was Walmart just said, we're going to put them up for pre-order. I don't think Nintendo gave them their numbers and said, this is what you're going to get. You're going to find in a couple of weeks that they start getting cancellations. People start getting canceled things. Because I think Walmart just said, let's just put them up. Because it was real weird that it went up. Like, there was no talk about it. Not that there was ever really any talk about it, but, like, they didn't even have placeholders up. I think, honestly, Marty, I think they went to go put the placeholder up and someone screwed up and it went live.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, for the NES Classic, Target did the same thing. Target put it up, right? Went live with it for pre-orders, and then they started canceling them because Nintendo went, no, what are you doing? And the other thing is if that rumor about the FCC is true, the FCC hasn't approved it yet. So if the FCC hasn't approved it, that means it's not legal to sell it in the United States, which means they went and did it on their own, which means Nintendo never told them you're getting X amount of units that you can sell for pre-order or whatever, or your initial shipment's going to be this. Because that's normally what happens. Nintendo tells Walmart or Toys R Us, you're going to get 50,000 units. Do what you want to do with them. And then the stores go, okay, we're going to put 40,000 up for pre-order and 10,000 are going to go in-store for people to pick up. I don't think that happened yet, honestly. That's my gut. That's what I really feel.
My hope is that they just don't. We don't have like the thing like the guy who developed that bot last year who ran and like as soon as it went up on Walmart, it bought all of them that it could, or whatever. And he sold that thing for like, $1,000 and it worked for shoes and it worked for everything else. He'd sell it to you or whatever. But I actually. It's ironic that you say that because we got an image today from a fan of the show who had contacted Walmart about the SNES Classic, and basically it said that it was this. Now this is a Walmart customer care representative, so grain of salt. Yeah. But I take this with a grain of salt, just like them putting it up early. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Like, and people are already, just to go along with your theory, people are already getting hit with cancellations.
And there you go.
There's multiple people who are having theirs canceled, but there's also still people who are having theirs processing. Yeah. They're still sitting there. Yeah. So my theory with that is either the people who are canceling, it's either that they ordered too many, they ordered 2 or 3, or that they were further back on the queue, like toward the end of its availability, and they're canceling toward the front. Yeah. You go, but this guy, he sends this to us, and it says, this is what the image reads, or the email. I apologize for incorrect information about that was previously provided regarding your order cancellation. The Super NES Classic Edition was mistakenly uploaded to our site and has a specific pre-order date set aside by Nintendo and cannot be pre-ordered until that date. Wow. This item is supposed to be added back to the site again sometime next week, so please check back online periodically, but also check on the official Nintendo site, as they will most likely make a big announcement for this item, making customers aware of the pre-order date, release date, and any other details surrounding the item. Thanks again for allowing me to assist you, and have a great day. Now,
Is that an email or a screenshot or what exactly?
It was sent to us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, yeah, that's an
official
email.
Walmart.
Yeah, it's official Walmart email.
Communication.
Okay.
And so that now I posted this somewhere else, and I won't say where, and it got a lot of pushback. Like people were like, "Oh, it's take it like we're going to believe some Walmart guy, and everything." And then somebody commented too and said, "Well, we're really going to believe like one Walmart customer service tweeter." Who's like thanking, like congratulating somebody on getting theirs. They probably don't even know what the thing is, or probably didn't even know what it was that they sold. But, and it's there on Twitter. Some people saying, thanks Walmart, got my NES, SNES. And the guy's like, oh, congratulations. But I can't see it being like, I really, really think Nintendo has to have realized we've got to do pre-orders on this thing.
Yeah.
Because they like the last of this year or last year and the first of this year, that's all anybody wanted to talk to them about when they interviewed. So how about that NES Classic thing?
Yeah.
So and that's got to be kind of like a black eye, a little bit like a little sore spot.
Yeah.
For Nintendo. Now, what worries me is why we've not seen pre-orders yet. Like if you can announce it, and pre-orders go up the next day in everywhere but North America. Why? Well,
so again, back to the FCC thing.
Right. And I get that.
I buy that reasoning. And the reason is that with the Switch Pro controller, it was the same thing. People were scared to death that we weren't getting them in the United States because everywhere else went up for pre-order except for the United States. And then that rumor came out about the FCC. And then the minute the FCC approved it, dude, they started going up for pre-order all over the place. So I really think, I'm telling you, that's my gut. I really feel that's the case. I feel like there's some validity behind it because when Nintendo says, like, we learned our lesson, I don't think numbers-wise they learned their lesson, but I think pre-orders, they learned their lessons. And it's like, they got to be smart enough to realize how pissed off they made everybody by not putting it up for pre-order.
Well, yeah, the NES Classic, like, you go in Walmart and you see the shelf in the electronic section. It's like the Atari Flashback and the Sega, Genesis little USB thing. I fully expected those to just be sitting there with that.
Yeah.
Last Christmas. Like, how perfect is it? Like, you walk into Walmart and there's a pallet of NES Classics sitting there, and get one for Dad, get one for Grandpa, that kind of thing. That would have been the perfect strategy.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, we didn't know how many to make. Come on, Nintendo.
Yeah.
Come on. I love Nintendo.
Yeah.
But they really borked that one up.
With Reggie's answer, it's hard because part of me goes, come on, Reggie, you had to know. But at the same time, their philosophy it makes sense. You and I have bought Mario how many million times? But they didn't comprehend that people would just want the box. And I honestly didn't want the box. I wanted this. I wanted the controller. Because when I knew that I could actually use this to plug it into my Wiimote, and then I can actually play old school games with this, that's all I wanted was the controller. And the controller was harder to get than the console was. So I'm glad I went for the console and not just... Because my original thought was, I'll just go buy the controller. And that's it. But they were even harder to get than the actual console was. So
my thing is, I was able to get, all told, by the time Christmas rolled around last year, I was able to get 4 of those.
Yeah.
Four consoles.
Yeah, I remember the story. And you were getting them for different friends
I would like just get them for people who were looking for them. Like I had a dude in my church who was like, that's what my 6-year-old asked for Christmas. He wants to play Super Mario with Daddy.
Yeah.
And they don't have any game systems. And I was like, dude, I will be on the lookout. And we found one on Christmas Eve.
That's amazing.
For him. And and there was like one that, I just I'd happen across them, at different times. Like I'd have people looking and they would call or it would go back up and I'd actually get one. Yeah. And I passed those along to Nintendo Dad's fans, just like, here you go. Y'all been wanting one. Here's first come, first served. I know that I'll probably be able to get one like that.
Yeah.
for the SNES, but like just having the pre-order would make me feel a lot better.
I agree.
Because I even like the NES Classic, I had to drive to another city to get one that night because I thought I was just going to be able to walk in and get one, and I got nervous about it and went to my Walmart that night, like before it was supposed to come out. I knew they'd probably let me get one at midnight, and there were 6 people standing in line, and I'm like, "Where are you guys in line? We're here for the NES Classic. They don't have any more." I said, "What?" And then the Walmart guy comes over and he's like, "Yeah, we only get 6, and the first person in line has been here since 7:00." And so I got in my car and drove an hour to, and I'm calling Walmarts the entire time. How many people are in line? Everyone 666. Finally found one. There's 3 people in line. Can you save me one? No, we're not allowed to do that because this is a limited item. I said, okay, I'm on my way. And I think I broke many laws of speed. But I got one, and it was like 1 a.m. though when I got it. I don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
I don't want to stand online at Best Buy in the freezing cold, mainly because the last time too, like Toys R Us and Best Buy would always have those open on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Like we'll have them when we open Sunday morning. I work for a church.
Yeah.
I can't go stand in line on Sunday mornings. So if the Walmart pre-order is true, then great for the people it didn't get canceled for.
Yeah.
If it's not, then good that we get another chance, but bad because I realize all those people are now in the know, and they're going to want a chance too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a double-edged sword.
For me, I learned my lesson with these things. So when I started collecting these, 4:00 in the morning, Target. I was living there for a while, and then so it's weird. Like I so far I've gotten every single amiibo that ever came out through and through. Me and Dave Moore are in this weird little quasi war back and forth. Like we'll tweet each other when we get one that the other one doesn't have, and but like when I look at it, it's like, why am I doing all this crazy stuff to get it? But like I've never had fear that I won't be able to get it. Like even with the NES Classic, I was like, I'll get it. I'm not worried about it. I'll get it. And we got 2. We got one for ourselves. My wife was trying to get one for her parents, and then she got one, and actually a girl that she worked with wanted it. So my wife sold it to her, and was like, here, take it. You know what I mean? Like, give me the money for it, and you can have it. And so we did that instead. But it's like, it's just, I feel bad for the people, for the kids. Because let's be honest, like I remember growing up, like my dad never would do what I do to go get a Nintendo or anything like that. My dad would just be like, oh, well, you're not getting it. And there's plenty of kids out there who really want this stuff, and their dads aren't going and waiting in line for it. And it's like, they're missing out, and it's I don't know. Nintendo has to fix that. They have to make it, like don't tell me in one stroke you're worried about kids and you want to do things for kids, and then in the other side you're just like, oops, can't do anything to help you. Like my biggest issue with, if Nintendo wants to combat scalpers, don't do things like publicly announce that you're canceling the NES Classic, because what you did is you just validified every single scalper when the SNES Classic comes out. Because when that first wave goes out and then things start hitting for $300, $400, $500 on eBay, people are going to go there because they're going to be like, well, they're going to stop making these things, so that's my only route. And
yeah,
you can't do that. My thing is I just won't buy one. If I can't get it, I'm not paying $500-$600 for it.
I had a buddy of mine who he got one and he never opened it up. Ooh. And he was sitting on it till about a month ago, and he scalped it. He sold it. And, at that point he was like, I'm doing it because I'm going to buy a Switch.
Yeah.
And, it was around March, and he was like, they just announced it was over, there were no more. And he's like, now is the time to do it. And he said, I just decided I don't want it.
Yeah.
And he said, I don't have anybody that I know of that wants one.
Yeah.
Everybody that I know of that wants one has got one. In fact, he had 2 of them.
Oh,
and he sold one to a friend of ours for like the asking price.
Yeah.
And so, without him being a bad guy, quote unquote, he's like, I don't know anybody to sell it to. I can't take it back to the store because the receipt is void. It's been 90 days. And he said, I'm just going to put it up and see what it goes for.
Yeah.
And he got like 300 for it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I could sit here and say I hope that doesn't happen with this one, but it's going to get scalped.
Yeah. Oh,
and so are the controllers, unless they learn their lesson. Like, you don't ship 6 consoles in a box and have 1 controller available.
Well, this comes with 2, so this is fine.
I think that's where they learned with this one.
Yeah, that's where like, Yeah. Well, I think also, if I'm not mistaken, that's how it was originally done. When you bought the original Nintendo, it came with 1 controller. When you bought the Super Nintendo, it came with 2.
Yeah, I think so. I think it came with the 1. I know mine came with the 1 controller and the zapper.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And that's how.
So it had other accessories.
Yeah, but they didn't have that for this. So it was,
You're not going to have like a little miniature power bank.
Could you imagine? Yeah, because you get a little power bank you hit with your fingers. That'd be awesome, though, man.
That's what we did as kids. I got down and
you just hit with your hand. That would be amazing, honestly. That'd be really cool, like to do it with your fingers, and then like a little zapper gun. I'd buy it. I'd buy it.
The thing is it's buying in on people's nostalgia. It's buying in on people's collectability. So anything that ends up being collectible, it's going to get scalped. I mean,
oh my god.
That's like the word of the week at San Diego Comic-Con this week. So
that's what they live for. Them guys, man, that's all they do. It's nuts. They go there, they buy up all the exclusives, and then they just put them on eBay. It's nuts.
Yep.
It's bad. So, Marty, let's wrap this baby up.
Sure.
Thank you so much for doing this. This was a blast.
Thanks for having me on, man. It's been awesome. It's been such a fun time.
Listen, I got to have you back because the funny thing is I haven't even touched any of the questions or anything I want to talk to you about. I make a list before everybody comes on the show, and I'm like, these are the things we're going to talk about. Here's what we're going to... You and I didn't touch it. I mean, we talked about Splatoon, but like, I didn't even look at the list once. The list is hidden. That's amazing. That's awesome. I love it. So,
that's all right.
I actually, when you used to have Reactor Radio,
I
wanted to get you on so bad at that time, and then and then the show went away, and I was like, oh man, and then because we actually met on the Nintendo Dads the one time when they did the E3 show, the follow-up.
That's right.
The follow-up E3 show, which was the worst decision that they could have ever made in their world. To get 4 different podcasters to go on a show with 3 podcasters to talk about stuff. We're all fighting for airtime. We're all like cutting each other off and talking. It was a train wreck of a show.
It's like a regular episode of Nintendo.
That's pretty much how it is. I don't know how you guys do it. It's like, holy cow. No. But which actually I'm going to be on this week. I don't know if they tell you, I'll be on Nintendo this week.
Zach's not going to be able to be on. So,
And Justin can't be there either. Yeah.
We're excited. Well, Justin gets up at 4 a.m. To be on, and we really appreciate that. I mean, he's taking one for the team.
You stop.
He's taking one for the team.
You stop. Here's what's going to happen. This week, Nintendo Dads is going to become the A team. We're going to show them. I'm not a dad, so I can't be a full-time member. But I'm going to show them what's up. I'm going to show Justin and Zach what it's like to have. This is going to be the best show that's ever happened on Nintendo Dads.
I'm making notes right now. Play A-Team theme.
Oh, yes. That would be amazing.
If you have a problem.
Oh, Lord. Marty, let everybody know where they can find you at, find everything that you guys do, and all that, please.
Okay, well, you can find me in 2 places. I'm on Twitter at Marty Estes. That's MartyEstes. Or you can find me over at Nintendo Dads. Or you can find us on Facebook at Nintendo Dads. You can find us on Instagram at Nintendo Dads. You can find us, any social media. Yeah. I'm pretty much on it. Yeah. But mainly use Twitter for communication nowadays. Facebook's more of a personal family thing. Yeah. So we'd love to interact with any fans of the show over there. And you can download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. We live stream it to YouTube on every Wednesday night.
Mm-hmm.
say Wednesday nights on into Thursday morning sometimes. But yeah, it's there, and you can watch the show as we record it and get a little behind the scenes, or you can download it the next day. And we have Patreon too, and you can just go find all that you want to about that. So
awesome. You can follow myself, Instagram, Twitter at Nintendo Gurus. I also have If We Ran Nintendo and Nintendo PlayStation Podcast, which are both available iTunes, dayspace.com, Google Play, all that good stuff. And this weekend we're doing the super indie podcast stuff, so you guys need to get involved with that and
need to come kill me in Splatoon.
It's so much
right
fun.
now.
So much fun. So that is all. See me later. Come on, Marty, say bye. Please say bye.
Bye.
How the podcast
Sorry,
host, every single podcast host that comes on, they just stare. They never say bye. Come on.
Sorry.
I'm
Bye-bye.
just kidding.